Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's day is Saturday, the 6th of September 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai, all your posts put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. We're going to go over here some posts from CSW. One that I've specifically chosen about Solana, when it said Solana loves to wave the banner of thousands of nodes as if that one phrase alone were enough to settle the question of decentralization. He knows. Just going to report on some news that's going on because it's all economic. It's all chaos and disorder. Heartbreaking stuff that these satanic bastards are imposing on us. We'll talk about what's happening in Peckham. Again, it's all economic destruction is what it is. Talk about what's also going on in Spain. Then we've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history. We've got the Kellenschweller countdown. And then we'll finish with the tree chat competition. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. So let's see what CSW has been up to. So the latest post, this was just 6 hours ago. He said, "It always amazes me that people do not think scale means millions, eventually billions of transactions a second. That is where this has to go. And at the level of proof of work isn't the deciding factor in efficiency. The simple explanation, if you bother to consider it, is this: it costs more to solve and verify ECDSA signatures than it does to validate hashing. The bottleneck shifts away from hashing into signature verification. Once you understand that, it becomes obvious proof of work isn't the problem any longer. Proof of work or proof of stake doesn't add anything to the equation. The only reason people believe it does is because they keep comparing it to BTC, crippled and crawling along with 4 or 5 transactions here and there, and then holding that up as the benchmark. It isn't, and mistaking that crippled state as determinative is nothing but self-deception." Yeah. Absolutely. And Brendan Lee said, "Yep. At that point, hashing will be a strategic, reward-adaptive part of the process, only done by a full block that can profitably support the energy expenditure needed. No point starting proof of work needing a centillion hashes on a block that contains a $5 reward." Yeah, and again, the block reward will come with millions of transactions per second. Like, just absolutely amazing. And Kurt said here, this is why they hijacked Bitcoin. Oh, let's see what he says here. "I used crypto.com to buy $100 in BTC, and shit, it cost me $50 to send it to a wallet address. Just for your information, for guys like you to share the insanity of BTC. Wanted to test out a poker site. To deposit with my debit, they charged $113 to credit me $100, but advertised that I can save this $13 fee by using a BTC, and then I get raped of half my BTC and fees. BSV, you better take over, bro. This is bullshit." The future. Oh dear, honestly, I mean, people are just starting to realise, yeah, but, you know, as they say, not many use it. Store of value, digital gold. It's just absolute nonsense. But this is why they're getting worried about it, because people are starting to call them on it. Like, literally, they're starting to call them on it, and they know it. This is why they're starting to backpedal. This is why you've got Jack from Twitter saying, "Oh, you know, it's meant to be used as a medium of exchange," and then Willy Woo also saying, "Oh yeah, it needs medium of exchange use case." Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. They're literally just backpedaling. Like, the finger of blame is going to land on someone's shoulders squarely eventually. CSW here continues, "There is an elegance in fraud when it wears the mask of virtue. The latest incarnation of this theatre is the sermon of proof of stake." But again, in proof of stake, there is no economic competition in proof of stake. And without competition, you simply get collusion and centralization. Proof of stake is a complete waste of time. Cannot be on a decentralized, certainly not commoditized network. One hears it chanted endlessly: decentralization, empowerment, liberation. It is the old Carnival barkers cry, the invitation into the tent where miracles are promised and only mirrors and smoke reside. There is a certain tragic beauty in watching the faithful repeat the catechism, for it exposes the depth of humanity, credulity, given them the word decentralized, and they swallow the chains as though they were freedom. But the design itself betrays them. Years ago I demonstrated this in print, but the point bears repeating, for the fraud repeats itself louder with every new cycle. Proof of stake does not disperse power, it redefines it. There is no competition in proof of stake because there is no economic opportunity cost in maintaining a stake once you've got it. That's the whole point. It redefines it. One entity can fracture itself into hundreds of faces, wallets, addresses, digital doppelgangers, and the crowd applauds the multiplicity as if it were independence. They point to a chart filled with thousands of fragments and announce that grave authority that the system is widely distributed. Yet behind the curtain, the same hand tightens the same grip, holding all the fragments together in a single fist. Yet because they're not competitive. They're not competitive. That's what he's saying there. This is the essence of the con. Control disguised as liberty. A single entity manages the stake, builds it, reinvests the returns, and refragments itself at will. It is the very opposite of decentralization, but the audience is intoxicated by the appearance of numbers. They see numbers of wallets and think they see hundreds of minds. They see percentages spread across addresses and think they see dispersal. What they witness is only the illusion of competition. There's no competition there. As convincing as a puppet show and just as dependent on the strings of the master. Yeah, absolutely. And what of law? The defendants will say they have built something that transcends regulation. Again, absolute bullshit. Something that cannot be captured. Again, yeah, more bullshit. In truth, it is nothing more than a mechanism for evasion, for bypassing rules by way of sophistry. When the same entity slices itself into hundreds of pieces and declares those pieces independent, it's not ingenuity, it is deception. No different in principle from the tycoon who hides his monopoly beneath a forest of shell companies and then swears under oath that he owns only fragments. This is not innovation, it is fraud, wrapped in code, concealed by technical jargon, and praised by the very victims that it exploits. The apologists protect the proof of stake is efficient. We know what he's saying. I mean, there has to be a simpler way of explaining it. Literally, there is no ongoing economic opportunity cost in maintaining a stake. It's not economically competitive, therefore you only get collusion and centralization. That's all that needs to be said, really. But yeah, great stuff there. Right, let's see what he says about Solana. I'm looking forward to reading this one. Here we go. He says, Solana loves to wave the banner of thousands of nodes as if that phrase alone were enough to settle the question of decentralization. This is the same sleight of hand Rupert Murdoch perfected with shell companies. Split your holdings into 20 pieces, call them independent, then smile as you insist you don't have any controlling interest. On paper, Solana lists roughly 1,300 to 1,400 active validators, with a total node count of over 4,500 if you throw in RPC servers. It sounds impressive until you collapse the facade and ask who actually holds the keys. The answer is not thousands, but hundreds, but a few dozen. The figure gives it away. The so-called Nakamoto coefficient, how many entities you need to stop the chain, is about 20. Strip away the duplicate machines run by the same outfit and the real number of independent controllers is even smaller, around 16 to 18. Push it further and you see how control concentrates. Less than 40 entities are enough to pass the 50% threshold of stake. The top 10 alone carry 1/50th of the entire voting weight, and every one of them is an institutional staking business, an exchange or a service provider. Binance, Coinbase, Figment, Everstake, the usual names. The thousands melt into a small boardroom table worth of players. Exactly. All deception. What Solana is really running then is not a broad mesh of independent validators, but a network dominated by the same dozen hands, each with their validators dressed up as multiple independent actors. The game is simple. Set up a fleet of machines, register them as validators, and declare that each one is a voice in the chorus. In reality, it's the same owner humming in 20 different tones. It is decentralization in the way that Murdoch's shell empire was competition, a lawyer's trick in counting. And if Solana ever reached the scale it brags about, hundreds of thousands of transactions a second, the cost of running a validator would only climb higher. Far from opening the gates to new entrants, scaling would slam them shut. Hardware requirements would surge, bandwidth would soar, and the set of people capable of participating would shrink to an even tighter set of industrial players. So instead of thousands of voices, you end with fewer than even, the very concentration the rhetoric pretends to oppose. Solana is not thousands of independent validators, it is dozens of companies wearing hundreds of masks, voting again and again and again while telling you it's democracy. It's not decentralized, it's theatre. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Solana's not proof of work. It's just absolute BS. But, you know, people these days completely ignorant of anything like that. Right, that's 10 minutes gone. Right, we just got a report on this. Michael McCarthy said here, 23-year-old Irania Zarutska was stabbed 3 times and at least once in the throat. She was pronounced dead on the scene. Watching how easily and unprovoked this subhuman took her life. Zartuska recently fled to Charlotte from Ukraine, according to loved ones. I mean, this story here is absolutely devastating. Look at that, and it's all done on purpose. A lot of these sleeper cells, they're paid and they're told to do this, like on purpose, to scare people, yeah, to sort of like rally people, to rile people up, so that they then start going to authority. You need to fix this. Yeah, this is what they want, and it's all done through the power of fiat currency that is fraud. They literally, you know, it's the banks that control absolutely everything. And they're in bed with all the secret societies and the 3-letter agencies and everything like that to you know, promote things like this. It's just horrendous. Fix the money, fix everything. This is why the world needs Bitcoin. And again, you know, talking about like economic collapse, look at this. Kira Dis said, welcome to Peckham. There's no income tax or VAT being paid around here anymore. Not that you need to pay that because it's fraud. It's always been diverse, but it's reached a whole new level. Old granddad would be turning in his grave. And again, I mean, you import the third world. This is what you expect. Look. Yeah, just an absolute shithole. And this is meant to be modern day Britain in London. Yeah, one of the most wealthiest cities in the world. It's like an absolute joke, just like we saw in Paris the other day. And again, it's all part of the Kalergi plan. And talking about the Kalergi plan, we've got this guy here saying, look, they're not even ashamed of it anymore. They're just advertising it on the trains in Spain.
So I'm on the train in Spain right now. Look at this. Look what's on the window. This is not Photoshop. It's right in your face. It's literally right in your face. Agenda 2030. They have it literally plastered on the windows of the train. What's it going to take for people to wake up? Look at this. This is literally on a train in Spain. What the hell is going on?
And again, until people actually really look into the agenda and realize how satanic it is, you know, the normies and the sheeple are just, oh, we'll just trust the government. Oh, they seem to have a good idea. Oh, yeah, you know, environmental sustainable goals and all that. It's just more bullshit. And again, only Bitcoin is going to expose all of this because it's all created via fraud. Literally, if the money is corrupt, everything is corrupt. You fix the money, you fix everything. This is why the world needs Bitcoin to actually expose their satanic agenda behind all of their lies. All of their lies, they're just a derivative of the truth of what they're actually really doing, which is religious extremism, you know. Right, let's get on to some 365 days of Bitcoin history. So on the 6th of September 2021, El Salvador became the first country in history to buy BTC. Obviously, Peter Rizzo has been going on about this. So he said, well, this was 4 years ago now. So exactly 4 years ago today, El Salvador became the first country in history to buy Bitcoin. They now own 5,000 BTC worth $300,000 and buy more every single day. So obviously they've been buying since 2020, 4 years. So yeah, 4 years ago they've been buying. I think they've got now $680 million worth. So just over sort of $500 million. I mean, not very much when you're talking about trillionaires and all that, but it's a lot for El Salvador. But then, yeah, I'm pretty sure that El Salvador is a slave to the International Monetary Fund, and the US have got their clutches in there somehow. But you know, imagine the betrayal. You know, literally when a country realizes they've been duped by the deep state technical team. Oof. Can you imagine? Oh, I wouldn't want to be them. No way. I wouldn't want to have orange hair like the orange logo. You know. Greg Maxwell, jeepers. All right, Kellenschweller Countdown is now the 6th of September. We've got 12 days left. Just the dirty dozen days left. There's going to be all sorts of shenanigans happening. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So press like, hit the subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss anything that happens between now and then. And talking about things that happen between now and then, we also had this competition. Check this out. So they look like there were quite a few frantic replies here. We've got 8 replies. So remember, this was the competition. What date did CSW write this? And this is the quote. It might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. Rephrase the above sentence using the correct grammar. So not rewording it, just rephrasing it using the same words. Complete the rest of the paragraph. What type of internet sites was CSW referring to when he wrote it? And who was CSW in correspondence with when he wrote it? The winner will receive 1 BSV via Handcash Bay Mail. The correct and winning answer will be the first transaction posted on-chain via TreeChat. Post, but closest to 8 p.m. UTC on Friday the 5th of September, which was yesterday. So what have we got here? We got Crypto Tweaks posted this on the 4th. So let's see what he says. It's not quite right. It's not quite right. 16th of Jan 2009. That is correct. Then he says, rephrase it. He says, it might make sense to acquire. He's reworded it. That's not quite right. Number 3, it might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. If enough people think the same way, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once it gets bootstrapped, there are so many applications. If you could effortlessly pay a few cents to a website as easy as dropping coins in a vending machine. Yep. 4, subscription sites. That's exactly it. It was subscription, and he was indeed in contact with Dustin Trammell. So the only thing that's wrong there is that one. You need to rephrase it rather than reword it. Let's see what else we. Oh, look at this. So we can have here the time. Look at that, BSV Godfather on it like a rocket. Look at that. That is absolutely bang on. 8 p.m. UTC. Like absolutely bang on. Let's see what he's got here. 16th of January 2009. Correct. It might make sense to acquire. It might make sense to acquire some in case it takes off. Is he just copied Crypto Tweaks here? He's just copied it. It's wrong. We're asking to rephrase it, not to reword it. What did he actually mean? 3, it might make sense to get some in case you get. Yeah, it's copied everything. That's all correct. Oh well, look at that. Bang on though. Bang on. That is incredible. That's great. So who have we got here? Angel 1111. 2 seconds after. Let's see what she's put. So Friday, this January 16, 2009. Correct. It might make sense to get some just in case it catches on. That's correct. Let's see if she's got the rest of the answer there. If enough people think the same way, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once it gets bootstrapped, there will be so many applications. If you could effortlessly pay a few cents to a website as easily as dropping coins in a vending machine. Yeah. Spot on. Subscription sites, yeah. And Dustin Trammell, it looks like she's the winner. 2 seconds past 8 p.m. UTC. Oh, look at this. Blind Freddy. When was this? This was 14 seconds past. 16th of January, correct, 2009. It might make sense to get some just in case it catches on. Correct. If enough people think the same way, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yep. As easy as dropping coins in a vending machine. Yep. Subscription sites and Dustin Trammell, spot on. Oh, there we go. Right. Angel 11 is the winner in that one. So whoever Angel is, if you just drop your hand cash pay mail, I will send you the one BSV. Congratulations, that's been awesome. All right, loving that. Right, so I'm away for the rest of today. Probably going to be back late tomorrow, so I'll see if I can fit a show in. That's a 20-minute show. Hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.